History, with its intricate tapestry of events, often has a way of echoing through time. It repeats itself in unexpected ways, sometimes subtly, sometimes with a resounding clarity. And today's world, with its complex systems and globalized ambitions, echoes the ambitions of the 17th century Dutch East India Company, or VOC, a name that resonates with power, trade, and a thirst for global dominance. The VOC was more than a mere trading company. It was the world's first true multinational corporation, a behemoth that reshaped global commerce. It was wielding the power of a nation, a force to be reckoned with on the world stage, minting its own coins, raising armies to protect its interests and expand its reach, and shaping destinies from Amsterdam to the far reaches of India. Its directors, the Heeren 17, a powerful cabal, answered only to shareholders, their primary concern being the bottom line. Pursuing profit with ruthless efficiency, a single-minded focus that drove their every decision, often at the expense of entire cultures, leaving a trail of exploitation and displacement in their wake. The VOC's meteoric rise serves as a stark warning, a cautionary tale of what happens when commercial power eclipses the authority of government and profit becomes society's sole guiding principle, overshadowing ethical considerations. Fast forward to June 13, 2025. The world has changed, yet echoes of the past remain. We now live in the shadow of a new, even more sophisticated entity, a force that shapes our lives in profound ways. It is the Megacorp. Unlike the VOC, the Megacorp doesn't need to fly flags or march armies to exert its influence, but its influence is pervasive. It is everywhere, shaping the very fabric of our existence, woven intricately into our food supply, our news broadcasting, and the very rhythm of our daily lives. This modern empire is a complex network of banks, powerful investment firms, and sprawling corporations operating seamlessly beyond national borders and often operating beyond the direct reach and regulatory oversight of individual governments. Boardrooms in London, New York's Wall Street, and the bustling financial centers of Tokyo make decisions daily that possess the power to make or break entire economies, impacting millions of lives. The Megacorp, in its immense scale and influence, is akin to a force of nature, an intricate ecosystem of capital and control, a web of interconnected interests. It is demonstrably more powerful than many nations, wielding influence on a global scale. Truly understanding this complex entity, its motivations and its impact, is undoubtedly one of our era's greatest and most pressing challenges. For in its very structure and its overarching ambition, we can clearly see the ghost of the VOC, reborn in a new guise, stronger than ever before, and far more elusive in its operations. The fundamental question remains, who truly governs our world in this new era of globalized power structures? And, perhaps more importantly, what collective action will we as global citizens take to address this evolving reality? The Megacorp isn't a single company, not in the traditional sense. It's something far more complex and pervasive. It's a cartel of financial giants, a network of immense power. These are asset managers controlling trillions of dollars, vast sums that dwarf the economies of many nations. They quietly own significant stakes in nearly every major corporation across the globe. This intricate web of interlocking ownership creates a system where accountability becomes increasingly difficult to trace. It blurs the lines between supposed competitors, diminishing the impact of market forces. This creates a unity of purpose, often at the expense of true competition and innovation. Their allegiance isn't to any specific place, but to the global financial system itself. Their loyalty doesn't lie with any particular nation, community, or its people. By directing the flow of capital, they wield immense power. These titans decide which industries will thrive and flourish in the modern economy. And conversely, they determine which ones will wither and fade away. They can move jobs overseas in search of cheaper labor and higher profits. They can automate entire workforces, displacing human labor with machines, and ultimately, they shape the future of our world through their investment decisions, all in the relentless pursuit of maximizing profit and shareholder value. These critical decisions aren't made by elected officials accountable to the public. Instead, they're made by a small, unelected elite operating behind closed doors. The Megacorp is a new kind of empire, an empire without borders in the traditional sense. It has no flags, no emperors, no visible symbols of power. Its power is enforced not through military might, but by complex algorithms and relentless market pressures. Not armies, but balance sheets. Its influence is subtle, often unseen, but it is relentless and pervasive. It shapes the lives of billions of people, many of whom may never even know its name or understand its power. This is the new empire, a financial empire. It's invisible, unaccountable, and largely unchecked. And in many ways, it's more dominant and far-reaching than any empire that has come before. The fundamental question is not whether this megacorp exists, because it does. The real question is how much control it truly wields over our lives, our societies, and our future. And ultimately, whether we as individuals and as a society can reclaim any of that control for ourselves. The megacorp's reach extends into politics and media, shaping society not by force, but by influence. Politicians depend on vast sums of money to run campaigns, making them reliant on the megacorp's wealth. Corporate lobbying and campaign contributions ensure that government policies favor corporate interests over public good. The result? Ordinary voices are drowned out by the whispers of capital. The same financial giants own stakes in major media, subtly steering news coverage to protect their interests. Stories challenging the system are marginalized, those supporting it are amplified. This creates a feedback loop. The megacorp funds politicians who pass policies that benefit the megacorp, which is then justified by a compliant media. The system is stable, self-sustaining, and resistant to challenge. The megacorp manages not just markets, but public opinion and political outcomes. Its power is everywhere, yet almost invisible. There is another way, a model where the state, not private corporations, controls key assets through sovereign wealth funds. Funded by natural resources, these state-owned investments serve national interests, saving for the future, funding social programs and investing in strategic industries. The government becomes an active participant in the economy, steering it toward long-term goals and public benefit. Essential services remain under public influence, and profits from national resources benefit everyone. This model prioritizes national sovereignty over corporate profit. It's not without risks. State power can breed corruption, but it offers a real alternative to the megacorp's borderless empire. It reminds us that economies can be structured for people, not just for profit. The choice is not inevitable, it's a matter of will. To understand the megacorp, those sprawling entities that shape our world, look to its ancestor, a chilling precursor, the Dutch East India Company in India. A historical case study of immense power and influence. The VOC ruthlessly exploited India's wealth, amassing fortunes for its shareholders back in Europe. It systematically dismantled thriving local industries and callously turned skilled artisans into mere labourers, all for the benefit of distant shareholders who had no connection to the land or its people. It manipulated markets with impunity, imposed its own terms on trade, and deliberately created a dependent colonial economy, ensuring its continued dominance and control. The company's power grew to such an extent that it effectively replaced local governments, usurping their authority. It used its vast wealth to buy influence within local courts, fund wars against rivals, and install puppet leaders who would do its bidding. The VOC, in essence, became a state unto itself, operating beyond the reach of accountability. It enforced its own contracts and collected taxes with private armies, acting as judge, jury, and executioner. This was corporate power completely unchecked by any sense of public duty or social responsibility. A dangerous precedent. Today, the megacorp uses different tools, more subtle perhaps, but no less effective. Offshoring, automation, sophisticated lobbying, but the effect is chillingly similar. National industries are hollowed out and political systems are captured by powerful interests. Societies are reshaped to serve the needs of global finance, often at the expense of local communities and their unique needs. The VOC's story is not just a dusty relic of history, it's a stark warning for our present and future. The fundamental conflict between unchecked corporate power and national sovereignty continues to endure, playing out on a global stage. The crucial lesson is this: Unchecked corporate empires ultimately undermine the very fabric of society, eroding trust and creating instability. Will we blindly repeat the mistakes of the past, or will we finally learn from them and forge a different path? The choice is ours. The Megacorp strategies have real consequences. Just look at Los Angeles. Once a hub of industry and middle-class prosperity, Louisiana's factories closed as corporations chased cheaper labor abroad. Stable, well-paid jobs vanished, replaced by insecure, low-wage service work. The middle class hollowed out and inequality soared. Today, Louisiana is a city of extremes, immense wealth, alongside sprawling homelessness. This isn't an accident. It's the result of a system that values capital over community. The social fabric has frayed, and the dream of prosperity has faded for millions. The story of LA is a warning: when profit trumps people, cities unravel. The Megacorp's agenda is not abstract. It's lived every day on these streets. The cost is measured in human lives, not just balance sheets. Immigration debates often miss the economic strategy behind them. For the Megacorp, mass immigration supplies a steady stream of low-cost labor, driving down wages and weakening unions. This benefits shareholders, but erodes the bargaining power of workers and sustains a low-wage service economy. The system depends on this flow of inexpensive labor to maximize profits and keep costs down. Politically, immigration stirs division, distracting the public from deeper economic issues. While citizens argue, the Megacorp's global integration continues unchallenged. Immigration becomes both an economic tool and a political distraction. The real winners are those at the top of the corporate pyramid. The Megacorp's greatest trick is hiding behind the left-right divide. While we argue over social issues, both sides quietly support the same global financial system. Politicians from left and right take money from the same corporate sources and rarely question the system's foundations. The real divide isn't left versus right. It's between the borderless Megacorp and the sovereign nation. The system pits workers against each other, ensuring they never unite against those who profit most. Recognizing this deeper conflict is the first step to real change. The question is, will we keep fighting each other or challenge the true source of our precarity? The future depends on our answer. We stand at a crossroads. The Megacorp's invisible empire dominates our world, concentrating wealth and eroding national power. The Dutch East India Company's collapse is a warning. Unchecked corporate power brings long-term damage. The Megacorp is even more powerful, but it's a human creation, not an inevitability. We must see past the distractions, recognize the real concentration of power, and understand the system's true nature. The alternative, national sovereignty and public control, shows another path is possible. The choice is clear: corporate capture or democratic self-determination. Our future depends on seeing the challenge clearly and acting with courage.